phone looks insane on paper, but does the Huawei Pura 90 Pro Max actually deliver in real life? Today, we're testing Huawei's newest camera flagship with its huge 200-megapixel camera setup. We'll check the camera, display, and overall experience to see if it's really worth the hype. In our earlier video, we covered the full Pura 90 Pro lineup, including the design and specs, but this time we're focusing only on the Pura 90 Pro Max. And honestly, Huawei is clearly going for a relaxed, vacation-style vibe here.
Big thanks to my tech partner over in China for providing this footage. I really appreciate the support in making this video happen. Hey everyone, Stella here from techiestreet. If you're into staying updated with the newest gadgets, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our latest tech content. All right, let's get right into the unboxing.
There are 5 color options, all with Huawei's signature gradient finish. The Orange Ocean version looks especially wild. The orange to cyan blend almost feels like watching the ocean at sunset. Even the frame carries the same gradient effect, which makes the whole design feel smooth and premium. And trust me, it looks even better in person. Another standout color is Emerald Lake. It also has the glossy gradient frame and back, giving the phone a very premium feel instantly. The only downside, fingerprints show up fast, so you'll probably be cleaning it a lot. If you want a true flagship feel, this phone definitely delivers. It's just 8.1 millimeters thick and weighs 230.5 grams, which is surprisingly slim for such a high-end device. Huawei also polished the frame and glass transitions really well, so it feels much more comfortable than you'd expect. On the front, you get a huge 6.9-inch 1.5K LTPO display. The Pro Max also uses Huawei's anti-reflective Kunlun glass, which feels seriously durable. Reflections are noticeably reduced, making the screen feel more immersive, especially outdoors. But here's the interesting part. The anti-reflective coating is built directly into the display, so if you apply a screen protector, that effect basically disappears, which is why Huawei doesn't include one out of the box. And after using the phone heavily for days without protection, we still couldn't spot any scratches. Brightness is also solid. We measured around 600 nits normally, while peak full-screen brightness passed 1600 nits. Outdoor visibility is excellent. For dimming, lower brightness uses 1440 Hz PWM dimming, while higher brightness switches to ABC dimming. Now for the main reason people care about this phone, the cameras. The main camera uses a large 1.128-inch sensor with LOFC technology. In simple terms, it captures extra light information to improve highlights, reduce overexposure, and boost dynamic range. But the real star is the massive 200-megapixel RYYB sensor. Lots of phones have 200-megapixel cameras now, but Huawei is the first we've seen combining it with an RYYB setup, which helps capture much more light. The telephoto camera has an 89mm focal length, around 3.7 times zoom. But interestingly, during normal shooting, the phone actually switches around 4 times, or 96mm, with a slight crop. To get the full uncropped 89mm image, you need to use the high pixel mode. Comparing the full 200-megapixel shots to the default mode, detail is definitely sharper in bright scenes, but exposure gets a little darker. For most people, the default pixel binning mode still looks better overall and feels more balanced. Now, let's talk about telephoto performance, one of the biggest selling points here. In bright daylight, zooming into distant buildings shows detail levels that are extremely close to Vivo's top telephoto cameras. Even at 10x zoom, sharpness stays impressively strong. That said, Huawei's current software does apply a bit too much smoothing. At 40x zoom, the image still looks very clean, but some fine detail gets lost because of aggressive noise reduction. Hopefully, future updates improve this. And now, let's see what happens in low light.
Night photography is where things get interesting. And honestly, Huawei surprised us here. With night mode turned off on every phone, Huawei still pulls ahead in detail and sharpness. The gap is especially obvious against the iPhone, and it even beats Vivo's heavier processing style. Now, once extended night mode kicks in, Huawei photos may look softer at first, but zoom in closely and the actual detail is nearly the same. The real difference comes down to processing. In outdoor night shots, Huawei and Vivo are very close overall. That said, Huawei's current software doesn't trigger long exposure mode aggressively enough yet. Future updates could easily improve this. Huawei also keeps its Telephoto macro feature this generation. A lot of you asked if it could capture tiny details clearly, things like toy textures, flower stamens, even insects. And honestly, the close-up shots look seriously impressive. Moving into normal daytime photos, you'd expect a phone this expensive to perform well, and it does. Huawei's exposure is usually slightly brighter than the iPhone's, but the biggest surprise this year is color performance. Huawei's color tuning has improved a lot. Older RYYB sensors sometimes struggled with color shifts, but this time, difficult scenes are handled really well. Look closely at the blue roof in these samples. Huawei's color accuracy is noticeably cleaner and more precise. In some scenes, it even boosts saturation slightly using scene recognition, making photos pop instantly for social media. Indoors is where Huawei really stands out. Under warm yellow lighting, it's the only phone that truly keeps the atmosphere intact. The iPhone cools the scene too much and loses that cozy feeling. In this indoor playground test, Huawei again produced the warmest and most inviting image. It's clear Huawei's RYYB and Tiger Peak imaging systems are much more refined now. Texture rendering also looks excellent. On plush toys and furry objects, Huawei's sharpening feels smoother and more natural than the others. For low-light shots, Huawei and Vivo use different focal lengths, so don't focus too much on resolution. Instead, look at exposure and color. Huawei's reds appear more realistic here. In the next samples, Huawei's photos also look more eye-catching right away, with slightly stronger contrast and saturation than Apple. Whether you like that style depends on personal taste. Now let's jump into one of the hardest camera tests, the famous SKB scene. If you've watched our channel before, you already know this place destroys most smartphone cameras. But Huawei handled it incredibly well. Highlight control is seriously impressive, and most importantly, it was the only phone that reproduced the original orange lighting correctly. The iPhone shifted it closer to pink. Alright, portrait mode next. As soon as you open portrait mode, Huawei gives you two choices, beauty mode on or off. The next samples were shot with beauty mode enabled, so keep that in mind. Huawei's portraits lean brighter and fairer, while Vivo goes for rosier skin tones, and Apple, well, you already know. If we had to rank them, Huawei first, Vivo second, Apple third, but tell us your ranking below. Zooming into facial details, Huawei's skin rendering looks smoother overall, but around areas like the lips, the beauty filter can get a bit too aggressive. We'd probably lower it slightly for more natural results. Overall, the Pura 90 Pro Max delivers very consistent photography performance. Color and exposure stay reliable across different scenes. Even our model mentioned she loved Huawei's stable white balance. We also captured side-by-side comparisons so you can judge for yourself. Before we finish, there's one more feature worth talking about. Huawei introduced something called X-Mage Selfie, and it's surprisingly useful, especially for beginners. Because having great camera hardware is one thing, but actually knowing how to use it is another. Once X-Mage Selfie mode is enabled, the phone automatically recognizes the scene and applies the best settings and filters for you. No manual tweaking, no complicated controls, just point, shoot, and get great-looking photos instantly. And honestly, that might be what makes the Pura 90 Pro Max such an easy camera phone to live with. Honestly, if you're buying this phone for your parents, teach them these camera features first. It makes taking good photos way easier. And if you like full control, every X-Mage style still gives you lots of manual adjustments. Huawei also added preset styles like Orange Ocean and Sunset Glow. Just tap once and the phone handles the look for you. It's very beginner-friendly.
Another big upgrade is the new stylization system. You can now adjust vignette strength and film grain to create more dramatic, atmospheric shots. If you like this kind of feature, type 1 in the comments. Huawei also expanded its AI photography tools. Alongside AI composition, there's now AI pose guidance too, and honestly, it's surprisingly useful. The phone can recommend poses based on the environment around you. Just follow the outline on screen, position the subject, and instantly get a better-looking shot. What's even cooler is custom pose importing. If you find pose inspiration online, you can import it directly into the phone. The AI automatically recognizes the body position and saves it for future shoots. For people who struggle taking good photos of their partners, this feature alone might save you. The rest of the camera app stays refreshingly simple. Huawei didn't overload the interface with random features, so everything feels clean and easy to understand. So overall, what's the camera experience like? This year, Huawei wasn't chasing crazy hardware numbers. Instead, they focused on balance while improving the actual photography experience. And the biggest improvement is clearly color reproduction. Huawei's imaging system feels much more mature now. That said, the 200-megapixel RYYB sensor still needs more optimization in some situations, but Huawei's real goal here is obvious: help normal users take beautiful photos easily, even without photography skills. And honestly, that matters more for most people. Huawei's software approach also feels smarter this year. Instead of adding gimmicks, they focused heavily on AI-assisted photography, and they're genuinely ahead in that area. Now let's talk video recording. Using the standard stabilization mode, Huawei performs very well overall. Even while running, footage stays stable and clean, but once stronger motion stabilization kicks in, there's still a slight jitter during faster movement, so the algorithm could use more refinement. We also tested Huawei's heavily advertised Telephoto video mode, and we noticed something interesting. At 19.9x zoom, clarity actually looks worse than at exactly 20x. Why? Because once you hit 20x, Huawei activates a dedicated enhancement algorithm that massively improves long-range video quality, especially for concerts and stage recordings. So remember that trick if you buy this phone. Compared directly against Vivo's 200-megapixel setup, Huawei produces noticeably sharper long-range video, especially on distant buildings, but stabilization still shows occasional jerky movement. In one brutal low-light test, we filmed a dancer from about 50 meters away inside a studio. Somehow, Huawei still delivered stronger image quality. As for performance, gaming clearly isn't this phone's main focus. Still, it runs Honor of Kings at 120 FPS in HD settings without trouble. We also tested heavy load scenarios using the Xiaobai Sanbing Database 5.0 model, including intense 6v6 and Dragon team fights. At 120 FPS with HD graphics enabled, Huawei averaged 116.7 FPS, giving a very smooth experience overall. Power draw reached 4.1 watts, while temperatures peaked around 43 degrees Celsius, so it does get slightly warm. For HarmonyOS 6.1, we focused heavily on system smoothness. Using Database 5.0, Huawei averaged 100.4 milliseconds in app launch response speed, placing near the top of the rankings. More importantly, app switching feels extremely fluid. Animations stay smooth even when rapidly jumping between apps, and that's still one of HarmonyOS's biggest strengths. We also tested responsiveness inside popular apps, not just launch speeds. In some cases, Huawei actually felt slightly faster than the iPhone. Day-to-day performance feels very snappy overall. HarmonyOS 6.1 also adds some fun extras, including the martial arts master theme, which is oddly relaxing to interact with, and future OTA updates will add heart rate monitoring too. Battery life is decent, but not class-leading. The Pura Max packs a 6,000 mAh battery, which honestly feels a little small by modern flagship standards. If you're traveling and shooting lots of photos or videos, carrying a power bank is probably a smart idea. Charging, though, is excellent. You get 100-watt wired charging and 80-watt wireless charging. Other features include macro support, IP68 and IP69 water and dust resistance, plus Beidou satellite communication across the entire Pura 90 lineup. Tiantong satellite support, however, is missing. Pricing starts at 6,499 yuan in China, roughly £705 in the UK, or around $953 in the US. So what score would you give the Pura 90 Pro Max out of 10? Let us know in the comments. The Pura 90 series may not have the craziest hardware upgrades this year, but Huawei has clearly found its direction with AI-powered photography. This generation isn't trying to feel professional only anymore. Huawei wants photography to feel easier, more fun, and less intimidating for regular people. The goal is simple: help anyone capture beautiful moments effortlessly. So if you enjoyed this review, drop a like below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone!